festivalcircuit.com and the director of the Austin After Dark Film Festival. Our final event of the year, Austin After Dark, will be our fall 2022 event that takes place on November the 7th. We screen all kinds of films that are intended for a mature audience, everything from horror films to drama, suspense, dark comedy, dark fantasy, dark science fiction, animation, even series episodes. We explore a lot of content, 30 minutes or less, that's there to entertain an audience of adults. So please, no children at this one. And we're going to get right into it. We are joined by the Now and Never film crew here, at least a couple of members of it. And Now and Never is actually nominated for the Best Dark Fantasy Film Award. Thank you both for joining me, and congrats on your award nomination.
Thank you so much for having us, and thank you so much for the award nomination. So happy to be in Austin. So we're so great.
Good stuff. I'm getting a little feedback on the mic, just letting you know. Maybe it's you and you, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
All right. I actually can't hear you at the moment, but if one of you could do the
Anu, I think it's you, darling, because you're outside. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe you could mute yourself for just a moment and see if you can get that fixed up. Thank you. So I'm going to ask you, Kim, in your own words, can you let us know the synopsis of this film so I don't give it away?
Yes, sure. Now and Never is, and I'll let my EP speak to this a little bit more when she gets back on, but it's really about a woman having a mental health crisis in the middle of a pandemic. I was given a short play by Kavi Ladnier, who is the actress that plays all of the characters. And when I was given the play, it had 5 characters. And I suggested that, knowing she was a talented actress, that she play them all, because we were in the middle of this really cosmic moment when everyone was forced into introspection, and there were all these voices in our head for the first time. You know, what are we supposed to, this existential crisis of what are we supposed to actually be doing with our lives, and are we going to live, are we going to die? And I thought by, her embodying all of those voices, it would really speak to the moment we were in. So for me, this is really a slice, the pulse of this is really a slice of the time that we're in the pandemic, particularly when we filmed it.
Wow. Anu, is there anything you'd like to add to that? We're just going through the synopsis question.
Yeah, I think it's we're calling it a mental health spiritual fantasy, which I think is really important, that, we're taking this concept of mental health and, pulling it through this very spiritual lens, and which is a space that you go through when you're healing. And so we're telling a story about healing in a way that's not really knocking you over the head. It's not a lecture. And I think it's a very universal way that we're talking about it. We thought the more specific that you tell a story, the more universal it becomes. So we're able to do that with this very specific this South Asian cultural storytelling we're doing.
Well, you definitely captured that, and that's the feeling we get from the audience. And I know that the judges really enjoy this film. Makes us look good to screen it. We're very excited. I want to know from each. You're very welcome. And I want to know from each of you. I'll start with you, Anu. Creatively, when you looked at this project and you got your eyes on it, and you said to yourself, "I'm going to dedicate a lot of time to make this happen." What is it about this story that just captured you?
I personally resonated with the myself. Have gone through, mental health struggles and healing, especially during the pandemic, very much dedicated time to pushing through my own struggles and wanted to deal with a lot of intergenerational struggles and, a lot of chronic, post-traumatic stress. And so I was like, I've been there, Harriet, protagonist. And so, yeah. And then also have my healing come through an ancestral route. And so when I read it, I was like, this is real. And therefore, this is also my story. And so I was like, absolutely happy to take this on and bring this to a wider audience so that people also can feel it in their hearts. It's very personally resonating. So it was a no-brainer for me.
Excellent. I appreciate your transparency in telling us that. That's a very personal project to you. And Kim, what about you? Please tell me. You're the director. I mean, you looked at this thing and you said we're going to make this happen. What is it about that grabbed your, what grabbed your attention about this story?
I, as a director, always work through the actor. I'm very interested in character, and I directed Kavi in a play, and she brought it to me. So I knew, and then as I said, I was inspired to have one woman play 5 different parts of herself. And I really did feel that would be an interesting challenge for both of us. And I also, as I said, we experienced isolation for the first time. And if there's any sort of hope and blessing that can come out of that, was, as Anu said, this healing where all of a sudden we get to really ask ourselves questions that we're usually much too busy to ask ourselves. And, the character really does that. She deals with these, the ancestral, patriarchal voice. She deals with the voice telling her she's not enough. She deals with, and then finally it's almost a catharsis that she goes through because she finds her own voice. And I'm not sure at a time in my life, I've had the opportunity to do that, because I've always just been running, from one thing to the next. From ever since we're little kids, we're always on some sort of a routine and a schedule. And this forced the whole world, especially America, to sort of sit and really introspect for maybe the first time. And there was something really beautiful about a woman getting in touch with her own intuition and connecting to herself and really deciding what was beautiful about herself, as a woman, as an Indian woman, as an artist, all the things that, and sort of integrating all of the voices finally through that dance, through well, I won't give it away, but integrating all of the voices.
See, that's my bad habit. I just want to tell people the whole thing. Well, I'll stick with you on this one, Kim. The production question. Is there anything you learned from the production of this film?
Yeah, it was a really challenging production in the sense that the DP and I, Leah and Nova, were very ambitious in our shot list. We wanted it all. We had 3 days. It was during the pandemic, so the producers had to have all of the testing. We had to wear masks, as anyone shooting in the pandemic did. But it was my nervous system was different than it usually is. So I think just learning about that, about trying to increase adaptability as a filmmaker, as a director, and realize that the time you're in is going to affect everything. And we also, the beauty of this is that we continue to grow, through good and bad, and learn about ourselves with every production. But I also learned from being with mostly women and female identifying people. It was really important for the producers to be inclusive in that way. And I hadn't been on a set that was, that before, which is kind of insane, because I started acting when I was 6. So I've been on hundreds and hundreds of projects. And this was the first one that was, what would you say the percentage of women female identifying was? 98% of
yeah, I was gonna say it's up there, like pretty much 90%.
Yeah, I'm not a mathematician. I don't know why I'm doing percentages.
Nora, we're filming.
Yeah, it was, that was really extraordinary to have that experience. So yeah, I'm probably still processing what I learned. I'm always processing what I learned, but it was,
we had an extraordinary time on this. Like, it was a very special set. It was just a very cool energy, especially because we created a very inclusive set. I mean, on breaks, people were meditating and taking short that's not every set is like that. And some very cool lifelong friendships were made here, and the producing team is putting together a feature, and it was a great proof of concept for us as a producing team, especially. And my company, The Genuine Article, our mission is to inclusively hired sets of BIPOC, especially with BIWOC, as we say, women of color and LGBTQ and disabled people on set. And it's an extremely important mission that we very successfully accomplished. And I want to piggyback on the last question a little bit by shouting out Kymberly and Kavi together have put together such an extraordinary performance that one of our future festivals that we'll be at has awarded Kavi preemptively Best Actress. And a Best Actress award already. And I mean, that happens when you play 5 roles on screen that are so varied. And so they really put in a ton of effort in sculpting these performances. And I say sculpting specifically because Kymberly has another script about a sculptor as well called The Man Inside that's doing the rounds. So and so we're all very, aware of each other's projects, and it's just, when you have that energy on set where you just become interested in one another's work, and it becomes a community. So it's been cool.
Okay. Well, I'll stick with you, Anu, on the next question. What's going on in the future? What's next?
Oh gosh, quite a bit. I have these actually. So the parent company to my production company and my creative consultancy is a media and real estate development company. So we just opened over the summer. We had a very successful summer, 4-unit property in Rhode Island, which we are starting to program as a writer and artist retreat. Very, very cool. And then I just finished I'm doing the final color on a music video for a Armenian American rapper. So we can look forward to that coming out. Not the end of this month, but probably the end of it. And then I have 3 features in development. 1 is indie and 2 are very likely being posted up at studios. 1 is a comedy that is sort of more in the vein of like 50-50. Remember that movie? And then 1 is like a race car movie. And then the other is with the other producers from this film, which is going to be shot in Canada, sort of like a family ensemble / romance.
Wow, so much range, so many things. That's great, Anu. And what about you, Kim? What's next for you?
It's so funny. We have a lot of parallels here. I'm also in pre-production for a music video that I'm directing, which is really exciting. My first feature that I created is getting distribution at the end of November. And I'm attached to direct 3 features. 1 that Anu just mentioned that I wrote that is doing its festival rounds. And I'm also just really just delighted. I mean, the other thing about creating something in the middle of a pandemic is this moment feels more profound, that it's going to be at your festival, and it's living, and you're in this dark place when you're creating in a pandemic. And so I'm just really delighted about the success of Now and Never too, and just feeling it all over different places. And Austin, you know, I always say I'm half Texan, half Jewish, because Texan is its own thing. And my dad grew up there. And so I spent a lot of time in Texas. So I feel really honored that we're there, and it's really exciting.
Yeah, when my parents first moved to the United States from India, they first moved to Texas.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
so many connections. Wow.
Yeah, it was Houston, but not Austin, and but still, it was like, you know, the first place that they called home in the United States. So yeah, so we're so stoked. We're so stoked that we got selected for Austin After Dark, and we're just I'm so excited to be down there in a couple weeks and just soak it all in and meet other filmmakers too. I mean, that's kind of the best part of all of this is meeting. I wouldn't just call them filmmakers; I call them future collaborators.
That's right. That's right. Well, that's a good attitude to have. Is there anything else that either of you would like to add before we go today?
Just thanks so much for this wonderful conversation. And I could talk for a few more hours about the film if you want. But otherwise, we really just want to thank Austin After Dark again for the nomination. We can't wait to get down there.
Thank you. Good work on this. Anything else new?
Thank you. Yeah. To the festival and the programmers, and we're really, again, so grateful for the selection and so grateful for the award as well, nomination, and to be included. And I'm so looking forward to meeting everybody. I don't know if you heard that, I just covered my mic. I'm so grateful. Looking forward to meet everybody down there, and eat great food as well. And yeah, please check out all of our projects, and yeah, thank you so much, Michael, for a great meeting here online. It's wonderful to meet you.
Thank you. This is fun, and I'll see you again soon. So I appreciate you joining me. Have a